Hey everybody. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the integration of nature and one of the potential futures that many of us are going to experience and that Galactics already experience because they integrate nature into their society. This is for both technology and just natural living. There's a post that I shared that a friend sent to me about people creating a home out of trees, training the trees, willow trees. Funny, my name's Willow. Training willow trees, they're easy to bend and that sort of thing, easy to mold, to turn into a home essentially. And that as the home grows, everything will fall out of it that supports it, and the trees will be what remains and create the whole home, the whole structure, the walls, the floors, everything. So this is actually a real thing that exists on other planets, and people are just now starting to bring it down and understand it, whether we understood it years ago. Because if you think about it, you know, if we did this 2,000 years ago, there would be no evidence of it because nature has this path of creation and destruction, and a house that is built out of trees has a lifespan. That house has a lifespan of however long those trees live. And once those trees die, it turns to dust, essentially back to earth. So there are beings I've witnessed that do this on very different levels, is what I would say. Garut is my elephant humanoid friend. I don't have a name for his species. He's just a friend who lives on another world of beings who look kind of like elephants and walk around and do different things, and just like humans. I don't know why I said just a generality. They walk around and do different things, which is the truth. I've seen him sitting on a bench, just watching people run around, type of thing. Going about their day like we would in the city, and his world is one where there are buildings, there is highly advanced technology. However, the buildings are built into the trees. Now, what I mean is not that they're carved into the trees, but that there are these enormous trees that are, some of them are hundreds of feet wide, and they're used. What are they saying? They're not carved the way we would carve them, but capillary systems, other things that are natural to these trees, are utilized in ways that can create structures. I believe trees technically have capillary systems, at least that's the word they're using, and maybe it's those trees on that world. But that when you see him on his world and he has an office, it's inside of a giant tree. Like the office building, the that is inside of a tree. His home is not. His home is kind of a Japanese style home, but trees are growing around and helping. It's all, the walls meet up with trees and this and that. You have one of the Arcturian worlds that they showed me one time was this just very lush jungle like world with Arcturian buildings all over it. But these buildings had very, very thin towers. I call them towers or structural supports, but just one. And it would come out of the jungle and take up almost no surface space on the ground. Come up, and then it would be supporting a huge dome. And just this very, whatever metal, whatever physics they were able to use, it was one support, always one support, every single one of these buildings. And it lifted the building out of the dome, lifted it up. But the other thing was, on that dome, there was still plant life overhanging it, vines. Anywhere there were walkways, there were these pristine white, silver, or more organic technology, they're saying, walkways that look like metal, but they're saying that it's not technically metal. metal or stone or anything. It's more of an organic thing. And that there would be plant life everywhere, all over these buildings while the dome was raised. There are places that have completely left the surface of their worlds and have cities in the skies. Cities in the skies. There's a blue avian world like that. There are a couple other worlds. Anybody familiar with Stargate SG-1? There's a very beautiful example with the race called the Nox. Those things exist. Those types of species exist. I haven't seen the Nox in that sense, but the one of the ones I saw were blue avians, and I've seen some others that have kind of floating cities in the sky. And then you have like Two Clouds world where they're, tree houses. You have, I did a starseed reading for somebody recently. They were a some sort of monkey-like being. I forget, but they were this monkey-like being, and they were on a world. They said a Zeta Reticulan world where there was a city being erected, and on this city, they they were in the trees with these tree houses. They had integrated tree houses. This monkey-like society had integrated tree houses in unity with the trees, type of thing. And that client had had a strong affinity for tree houses. Uh, there are all kinds of these worlds where technology can be embraced and can be used to, you know, enhance our ways of life in a beneficial way. That goes for all forms of technology. Technology doesn't have benevolence or malevolence, it's in how it's used, how it's created, type of thing. There's been plenty of it, and plenty of it that um, was created for benevolence and was used malevolently, type of thing. So we have to keep that in mind, and it can be used in our world to expand us and into unity with nature in a variety of ways. It's all about how we use it. Do we use nature itself to create our buildings and merge with our societies? Or do we use technology to bring us kind of like off of the surface to allow nature to thrive again? And that's really one of the hardest things for our world, is that nature isn't allowed to thrive. Look at how many cities have just decimated the natural area because we poured cement on the surface, all of that type of thing. So keep that in mind, and just remember that a lot of natural ways of doing things are going to start bubbling to the surface, and people are going to be like, oh, that's really cool. It's something new. It's not that it's really new, it's that these people are bringing down information that was known before, that is known now, and that is used currently on other worlds and other dimensions to create unity with nature. There's no reason to fear nature. Really, our home is the world outside. Living in a box, we're not meant to live in a box. So if you're living in a box, this is your message: to get up, get outside of your box, go for an adventure, go for a walk, get some sunlight, breathe some fresh air. I do not miss my box one bit. I miss my cats, but not my box uh, at all. And in a sense, my car is a box, but I can open the hatch, the windows, the doors, and all of a sudden it's not a box anymore. It's just a space I use to sleep and protect myself. So get outside of your box. Love you. Grateful for each and every one of you. Oh, and if you are interested in dragon mini readings, I will be doing dragon mini readings this week and doing some reels and a live about dragons as well. So love you all. Grateful for each and every one of you. You can find that information on my Instagram.